We need to get the Surfer. He's the only one that understands its power.
Even if we break him out of this place, how are we gonna catch up to Victor?
Leave that to me.
This is Marvel's first family. These 4 scientists, who were forever altered by cosmic rays, were born from inarguably the greatest comic book run of all time. And yet, when it comes to adapting those characters to the big screen, their casting has basically always been terrible.
The clock is ticking. We are going to find a solution. We are going to make it right.
One of the first times the Fantastic Four escaped from the printed pages was in 1975 for their very own radio show. Did the show feature narration from Stan Lee and Bill Murray as Johnny Storm? Yes it did. Was it as popular as, say, the Lone Ranger show or as influential as the Superman radio show? No, it was not.
Let's observe another scene at Swanson's garage.
Hey, look! What's that in the sky?
That's my cue. Flame on!
From here, the team managed to get various animated adaptations, but nothing that caused them to catapult to superstardom. The key to the team's global recognition appeared to be a big-budget live-action feature, but that seemed perpetually out of reach. However, the 90s seemed like the decade that was going to change it all. The Fantastic Four did receive a movie in 1994.
Don't you think this is just a little too easy, huh?
Yeah. I love walking into a trap, don't you?
I don't know. I've never done it before.
Tragically, this film was never widely released, and the low-budget affair was produced with the sole purpose of maintaining the rights for Constantine films. However, this rights gambit paid off, and a big-budget feature rendition of the Fantastic Four roared into cinemas in 2005. Regrettably, the film is distinctly of its time.
You know, it's amazing. For an 80-year-old woman, you'd be surprised.
You are Trouble.
Trouble is my middle name.
Oh, you're hot.
Why, thank you. So are you.
The casting of this movie is its primary downfall. Well, that and the wacky kid-friendly tone. The Fantastic Four lives and dies on who you select as your Reed Richards. He's the leader of the team, but the key factor with selecting an actor to portray him is that Reed Richards is a very mercurial mixture of brainiac mega-nerd, obsessive workaholic, and doting father and husband. Those are a lot of notes to hit when selecting an actor. That's a very difficult balance to strike. And you know who has ostensibly none of those characteristics? Johan Griffith. He just falls flat in about every aspect of what you need for Reed.
The cloud has fundamentally altered our DNA.
Cool!
And of course, there was this moment from the sequel that just cannot ever be forgotten. In the face of that massive shortcoming, you have Jessica Alba as Sue Storm. Sue needs to have warmth, intellect, and compassion. She's the emotional core of the team. And Jessica Alba? Yeah, she's pretty wooden in that role. And on top of that, she should never have bleached blonde hair and weird blue contact lenses.
Do you really think fate turned us into gods so we could refuse these gifts?
Victor, you always thought you were a god.
Susan, let's not fight.
No, let's.
Chris Evans, on the other hand, is great as Johnny Storm in these movies. He's really well cast. Michael Chiklis? Come on. Did we cast him because he looks like the Thing in real life? Honestly, he makes a great Thing vocally, but a terrible Ben Grimm. His practical suit looks really cool, but Chiklis is too small and his performance is too one-note.
Ladies, I'm gonna need to borrow your car.
The transmission sticks!
It's not gonna be a problem.
Which brings us to the Dr. Doom problem. Doom has never been done correctly on the big screen. He's the best villain in the entire 616, and yet for some reason, in transferring him to the big screen, everyone second guesses it and gets in their own way. The character has been stripped down to Electro in a shitty mask. Ironically, Julian McMahon's casting could have been great. He's got the swagger and the persona of someone who's a little bit dangerous.
Painful? You don't know the meaning of the word.
But literally none of that is on screen. In these two movies, he feels more like a made-for-TV villain of the week. Frankly, Joseph Culp's Doom from the made-for-TV Fantastic Four movie feels more like Doom, even with his unfinished audio and clumsy blocking.
You may call me Dr. Doom.
Obviously, this incarnation of the Fantastic Four got a sequel. This movie corrected some of the mistakes of the previous film and added some of its own mistakes, like the Galactus Cloud.
What the hell was that?
We'll make adjustments. Next time we'll be ready.
Now, the residents of the Baxter Building would of course grace the big screen again, titled Fant4stic, aka Fantastic Four. Miles Teller as Reed? Too broy. Just no one in their right mind believes for a second that this dude was winning science fairs as a child. Kate Mara as Sue Storm? No, she has library girl black cat energy, not the kind and giving emotional center of the team that Sue needs.
That was an accident.
And if by accident you upped the power, you would have created a black hole and swallowed the entire planet.
Well, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Michael B. Jordan as Johnny. This casting could have worked if they'd written anything significant for him to do, but it's not in the finished film. He just kind of roams around being vaguely charming.
I could use some help, actually.
Oh, this guy doesn't take orders well.
Yeah, especially from people who say shit like, I don't take orders well.
Jamie Bell as Ben Grimm. Again, great actor, not the lovable bonehead that is The Thing.
You were my best friend.
I'm not your friend. You turned me into something else.
Which brings us to Toby Kebbell as Doom. Again, if given good material, he could have worked. He could have been great, but unfortunately he got the worst material. It's hard to think that they'd butcher Doom worse, and yet, here we are.
There is no victor. There is only Doom.
Most of these problems come back to the choice of the director, Josh Trank. He got the job because of his found-footage superhero film Chronicle, but it's obvious he was not a fan of the Fantastic Four. He never even tried to capture the whimsy, retrofuturism, or optimism of the team. He made things dark and turned these beloved characters into little more than a body horror blockbuster dud. Which brings us to Fantastic Four: First Steps. Finally back in the MCU where they belong.
We all know the story. 4 brave astronauts head off into space and come back forever changed.
Let's start with Pedro Pascal. He just doesn't feel like Reed, at least not by any standard by which the character has previously been depicted. John Krasinski did play Reed in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but it's a good thing he wasn't the sacred timeline Reed. Despite being a popular choice in certain fan circles, he doesn't have the adventure hero side Reed needs. Pedro Pascal, on the other hand, is just a deeply strange choice. Does he have the rugged adventurer energy? Absolutely. The scientist who's obsessed with alternate dimensions and mathematical equations? Not so much. Yet another example of how difficult Reed is to cast. Vanessa Kirby as Sue looks fantastic. Pun very much intended. She seems like the best on-screen version of the character we've received so far. Evan Moss-Bachrach as Ben Grimm. The jury is out on this one. The CGI on the Thing looks a bit rough, but his design looks great. We'll have to see where this one lands in the execution. And Stranger Things' Joseph Quinn as Johnny? Yeah, it could work. But Quinn and other Marvel producers have said things about how they're trying to make Johnny more applicable to modern audiences. That seems like they're prepping viewers for something that might be a divergence from his typical caddish behavior.
If we pull this off, I take back every single bad thing I've been saying about you. To myself. In private.
Fingers crossed the difficulties that the Fantastic Four have had in casting in the past is just a thing of the past. Maybe Pedro Pascal will be the perfect Reed Richards. We'll all have to show up to the theaters to find out. And well, that's all we have for this episode. What do you think? Who would you have cast for Reed Richards in the new Fantastic Four movie? Let us know down below, and as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to Nerdstalgic for more videos just like this.